This is John, and at 39 years old, he has $135,000. However, 99% of those assets came from his parents. The ones that you've created yourself at 39 is $200. And he continues to mismanage his own money, leading him to stack on debt and collection. You're in what is called the hell of collections. Today, he is coming on the show with one hope: to save his future. Welcome to Finance Action, the show where we take action. My name is Romain, and today I am with John G. John G, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. John G, let's look at your profile. You are 39 years old. You're originally from Chicago, but you currently live in Las Vegas, and you work as a brand ambassador as well as a musician. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. Looking at the way you've rated your personal finance from chilling to Mayday, guys, John rated himself today as I'm okay. We'll see about that. But is that how you feel today?
Yeah, I have a strong faith. I have a lot of things going for myself. So.
Okay, that's good to hear. Let's check that. How does that rise convert into finance? So how do you feel about your finances today?
It's not the best, but like I said, it's something that I learned not to stress about anymore.
Okay, how come?
Because everything always works out. You could stress about a bill. You could stress about, you don't have this, you don't have that. But I'm always very resourceful. I like to cook and be at home and watch sports. So I don't need to be out and about.
I see. What have been some of the events that have driven your financial situation today?
I think not going the straight and narrow path and, using my degrees as like a worker.
Oh, so you have expensive degrees?
Yeah, I have a master's as well.
Oh, okay. How much did you spend for all of that?
It would have been, about $120,000.
$120,000? Okay. And you're still showing some of that student loan today. What were those studies in?
Biology was an undergrad.
Okay. What happened with that?
I was pre-med and I decided it wasn't for me.
After paying tens of thousands of dollars?
After paying about 3 years into it.
So that brings you today, John, in a situation where you've rated yourself as I'm okay. We will see about this. I feel like for the most part, you are working of a very fine line. Let's start first, nice and smooth, with our first section, your income and your asset. So you work as a brand ambassador. What does that mean?
Customer service, helping people at conventions.
Okay. How much do you make from this profession per year?
Usually it's between 20 to 35, sometimes 45 an hour.
45 an hour? So that brings you to about $45,000 per year. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Do you have any other source of income?
Sometimes I do work for, moving.
Okay.
I sell some stuff on Facebook, things like that.
How much would you say you make?
In a year, probably 5,000.
5,000?
Yeah, not much.
So together that brings your income at $50,000. Okay. Looking at the way you rate for your age bracket between 35 and 44 years old, 50% make more, 50% make less. John, the median is at 61,300. Mm-hmm. You're making 50, so you're below that. However, Las Vegas, for the most part, is a pretty good cost of living city. But again, we would want to raise that up, especially when you look at your assets. Thank you for providing me with your statements. Here I see on your checking account, ladies and gentlemen, a balance of 74 cents. That's rough. You also have a little bit of cash that you recorded, about $200. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have anything else?
Assets, I have a house and 2 cars.
How did you get that house?
It was inherited.
So you inherited it from your parents?
Yes.
Okay, so both of your parents are deceased?
Mm-hmm.
I apologize for that.
No problem. I appreciate it.
But you inherited this house, which we evaluated today at, $359,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how much do you own on that house?
$250.
Okay, so you're pretty much up about $109,000 of equity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you own anything else? You mentioned cars. What do you own?
A Ram 1500 and a Jeep Patriot.
Okay, and do you own any money on it?
No.
Okay, looking at the Kelley Blue Book value for this, you're looking at $14,900 for the Ram and about $11,000 for the Jeep Patriot.
I think that's a little low on the RAM.
And that's looking at current KD Blue Book value on private party, not trade-in.
Okay.
But
private party, gotcha.
Yeah, private party. But if you were to, depending on the condition of the car, you can also raise it a little bit. We'll be conservative for now. That brings your total car value at $25,900.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Do you own anything else?
I had invested in Bitcoin back in 2017, and I need to mine it out. It was very confusing back then. I didn't know if it was a real thing. It was kind of something I just put.
How much did you invest?
$100, $200.
100? What? 100 and
maybe 150.
150. When in 2017 did you get it? Early during the year or at the end?
Earlier in the year.
Okay, early in the year. That's when Bitcoin started to skyrocket, guys. So pretty much in March, the Bitcoin value, one coin was equal to 1,150.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the value of the Bitcoin today, it's at around $66,000. So if you invested $100, you would have today $5,700 worth of Bitcoin.
Not bad.
So if you had $200, that's 11 grand, my friend. But you don't have the logs for it.
I need to find it.
You think you can find this?
I hope so.
Right.
I know the person who I invested with, so we'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to account for the mysterious Bitcoin in terms of your assets for now, because we don't know if we're going to be able to retrieve it.
Exactly.
Let's look with what we currently exist and what we currently have. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Do you have any retirement accounts?
No.
No retirement accounts?
Nope.
Okay. How come?
I've had a couple with education where they put it, but I pulled it out.
Why?
Because I moved on to a new job and I needed money.
Okay, and you never thought about putting your money back into it?
I did when I was working for him, but it would total out to just a couple $1,000.
What do you think is going to happen when you're going to retire?
I think I'll be rich by then, to be honest.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's wishful thinking. I love that. But
that's why I'm here with you today, right?
Yes, I mean, I will give you some tricks, of course, but I can't create hundreds of $1,000s that you're gonna need at the age of retirement. I mean, you're still pretty young, 39, but the clock is ticking, my friend. I don't want to tell you, but I've had people sitting right where you're sitting right now that are 60 plus years old, that at 40 years old were delaying and say, yeah, no problem, and so on. And they end up with $0 in savings at 67, and they are, in a tough spot, I would say.
Yeah,
politely.
I can see that. I definitely, the wake-up call is coming.
The wake-up call is coming, man. Almost 40 years old, huh? Okay. All right, we'll be thinking about this as we think about our recommendations section. But together, I want to say, thanks to your parents, because right now, otherwise you would have... Oh, wait. Sorry, I forgot to ask. Did you get any financial money from your parents?
I did.
How much?
$90,000.
Okay, $90,000. What happened?
I used it for the house.
Oh, what do you mean the house?
To spend on the house, to mortgage, bills, utilities.
Oh, I see. So, but you didn't throw that money to the garbage?
No.
When did your parents decease, if I may ask?
2021.
Okay, so it's been about 3 years?
Yeah.
How did you spend $90,000 in 3 years?
On the bills.
On the bills?
Yeah.
But how much were the bills? The house rent is not that high.
Some of it was backlogged. So there was just whenever you deal with a death, there's a lot you have to figure out.
Okay, walk me through a little bit through that.
Because it wasn't underneath my name initially, it had got backlogged like 3 months. So I owed a lot of fees, things of that nature.
Okay. So this is where I want to bring, at 31 years old, guy, I have what is called a revocable living trust. Okay. I want to bring a little bit of thoughts here for my viewers. No matter the age at which you are, I always recommend, except if you're probably 20 years old and you don't have anything, but if you're even in your 20s, I recommend, and even at your age, John, for what you own today, it is recommended that you look for what is called a revocable living trust. And the concept of is similar to a will, where you are putting your assets, including your personal assets, within a trust that you can call whatever name it is. And that allows you to create almost a formal contract with a lawyer office where you can assign a trustee and you can assign people that will then earn the fruit of that if something was to arise to you. What that does is that it kills a lot of the fees that you probably had to pay for lawyers figuring out who owns what and what's going on and so on. And this generally, guys, is pretty simple. You can go to what is called an estate planning lawyer. And this will cost you between $700 to $5,000 depending on where you reside. But it's heavily recommended. Now, the bonus tip, guys, is at your age, especially if you're young, do not do an irrevocable living trust. Because a revocable, you can always change it. An irrevocable, once it's done, it's done. And then canceling it and so on becomes very difficult. And the value for each of them is pretty much the same, okay? So this is something that I want for you guys to please start looking into. In addition to that, that also can bring a level of organization in estate planning, especially for my older audience here. Guys, look into this. It's not too complicated, and it should be something that is also pretty cost advantageous as you think about your inheritance to the people that you want to give your assets to.
It's irrevocable?
You want to do revocable, okay? Revocable living grantor trust. Okay. Pretty easy. Cool. So yeah, no wonder why you spend those $90,000. The fees can stack up pretty high. And on top of that, you probably were stacking on quite a bit of expenses yourself. Wasn't that the case? Did you had some debt at the time?
Yeah, I did, and also just finding a lawyer. The probate process is very tedious. You got people coming out the woodworks. You got people asking you to sell your house, and you're trying to figure out. One, you're going through a loss, so you're trying to figure that out, and then on top of that, you're trying to figure out finances, keeping a roof on your head, that kind of thing.
Yeah, estate planning is crucial, and if you probably had a living trust now, I don't know the full situation, but you would have probably saved at least 50% of what you paid. Easy. Because then it stacks up. So think about this as you think about your estate planning. Okay. Good thoughts. So, if you have nothing else, that brings your current amount of assets, John, at $135,000. Okay, 134,800 is thanks to your parents. So on your own, $200 at 39 years old. I wish you would have brought up a little bit more on your own, John, too. Anyway, now that we know a little bit more about your story, let's move on together to our next section, which looks at your expenses and your debt. Looking at your expenses, John, I like to start with a fairly basic one. Number one, how much is your mortgage right now on your house?
$1,200.
$1,200? Okay, that includes utilities?
No.
How much is utilities?
$300, $200, and $150.
What is it? $300 for gas, $200 for electrical, and $100 for water or something?
Water, yeah, and then $150 for internet and phone. Okay.
Well, let's take out for now internet and phone. Looking purely at your housing expenses, that is about $2,075 per month. It is 71% of your income.
Yep.
Okay, we like it to be generally below 28%. So your house is costing you a lot of money. Now, wait before people slam. You are building equity on that house because you're already up on the house, so you're not upside down. That's nice to see. If you were to sell the house, you would cash around $109,000 in pocket, except there's going to be fees and so on, but you're probably up $100,000 on it. Hold on. How the heck do you spend, almost $800 of utilities per month? Oh, you have HOA as well?
HOA, yeah.
How much is that?
$200.
All right. I'm glad to see that you don't own any money on your cars. However, you probably own insurance and gas. And here I see recorded you have about $280, $300 per month on those combined. That brings your car and transportation expenses at 10% of your income. That is, again, thankful that you own the car from your parents. We like it to be below 15, so you're good to go. I wouldn't touch this. We'll speak about that a little bit later in our recommendation. Moving on to some of the rest of your expenses here, let's rock and roll to some of your debt because, ladies and gentlemen, our friend here has stacked up quite a bit. John, at 39 years old, I'm going to start with the first one, student loan. How much do you own?
$80,000.
What is the split?
50 private, 30 federal.
Have you been paying them?
I was paying them more. Now I was on forbearance recently, so I haven't been paying on them. Yeah.
Okay, and they've reached out to you, I imagine.
Yeah.
What did they tell you?
They haven't said I owe anything right now.
Oh, they told you that you're done?
No, not done. Just I don't owe anything
For now?
for now.
When was the last time they reached out to you, John?
This month.
Okay, we'll keep it under the radar for now. I see here that you're recording as well some credit card debt around $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what happened there?
Charged off.
Oh, I see. Okay, went to collection.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was that?
5 years ago.
You haven't taken any more credit cards since?
No.
How come?
Don't want to get back in that.
You were into it quite heavily beforehand?
No, not so heavily. I think I was just irresponsible of paying it back.
Do you feel like you have a different mentality around it today?
Yeah, I want my credit to get back up. I definitely see the value in it.
Okay.
I had a good credit score when I was young.
Okay, what happened?
I used the credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
Irresponsible.
I see that you're also recording some utilities collection around $500.
Mm-hmm.
How come?
To be honest, I think it's falsified. Not falsified, but it was. I had a apartment.
Okay.
And I switched over to a different apartment, and they carried over a previous balance that I know I paid off. So they're kind of like chasing me around, but I really don't.
How long ago was that?
That had to be like 10 years ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Have they reached out?
That got charged off.
Okay.
That was in Chicago. That's a whole different company.
Okay, wow. And I see also that you're recording for phone with Sprint about $1,000 in collection as well. How long ago was that?
That would have been about 7 years ago.
And I see as well that you're recording about $800 of a ticket. $800? What did you were going 120 miles? What's going on?
No, it was much lower at the time. It was just that over the years they just add on interest.
Okay, guys, please, anything that's government related, ticket, tax, all of that stuff, just tackle it because they slam you on interest. And don't worry, somehow they get their money at some point. So that was probably $130 ticket, and now it's $800. I'm surprised they didn't put a warrant. Sometimes they can put warrants on stuff like that. You don't want to be arrested, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's not worth it. How long ago was that?
Yeah, about 7 years ago.
7 years? Everything is 7 years ago. You were someone different 7 years ago.
Yeah, I was traveling from Chicago to Los Angeles.
All of those are in collection, kind of collection mastery. How long ago have they been reaching out to you for?
That amount of time. Well, not the Sprint, but the ticket. Yeah, they're still
reaching out today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about the other ones?
The credit card every once in a while.
So they still reach out?
Yeah, but not as persistent.
Okay, probably 10 years ago. That's fair. I'm sorry, 5 years ago on the credit card. Utilities and Sprint, do they reach out?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Can you still see those on your credit score right now? All of them?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the number for each of them or no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's think about this, my friend. Let's think about this. Okay. Yeah. No other debt?
No other debt.
Okay. That brings your current amount of debt, my friend. I mean, look, assuming that... assuming that you have the $80,000 of student loans that we don't know what's going on, the fact that they're putting on forbearance, it's probably a lost cause for them at $83,500. Looking at your net worth today, John, at 39 years old, you are worth $51,800. That is on paper. However, given that those are collections, those are forbidden student loans, you probably were much more than that because we are going to be able to negotiate some of that together. I'm going to tell you how. Mm-hmm. Okay. But still, I'm a little bit surprised, my friend, at 39 years old that you're still carrying a bunch of those little kind of shit debt. I'm not going to lie, like it's small amounts. It's small, but it's blastering your credit score. What is your credit score?
540, 550.
540, my friend. No, it's not the greatest. We want to push that up, okay? You even were the one that said that you want to bring it up. So let's work on towards this, okay? Looking at some of the rest of your expenses, what is nice about our friend John is that for the most part, you're pretty frugal. As you mentioned, you don't go out of the house. However, when you go out, my friend, it's rock and roll. Are you ready for this? House of Blues. It's a bar in Las Vegas. And I see on that same day, minus 26, minus 40, minus 20, minus 40, minus 82. You were the king of the night. What happened that night?
It was a birthday party.
Oh, I see. It was a birthday party for?
A friend of mine.
I see. So at 39 years old, you have a girlfriend, very nice. You've been together for not too long. How did you guys meet? I'm just curious.
We met at the grocery store.
Oh, okay. That's one of the unicorn, the grocery store meetup. How did it go?
I had been courting her for a little bit, or not so much courting her, just observing. She was checking me out, and I gave it a couple months.
Well, hold on. You see her every time at the grocery store when you go? You guys are on the schedule?
No, she works there.
Ah.
Yeah. So I would see her frequently. Okay. And then I was just getting a feel for her. She was getting a feel for me. And then I left one day, and I was like, next time I see her, I'm going to say something.
What did you say?
I said, how you doing? Do you have a boyfriend? Kind of just small talk.
Just small talk.
Getting information. Do you have any kids? How old are you? Things like that.
Wow.
What do you like to do?
Very nice and respectful.
Yeah. What kind of music do you like? That kind of thing.
Okay. I compliment you for this. Great courage, and it worked out. I like to see that, of course, many of you guys might be single. I actually found my partner, just a fun fact on apps. Going to bring you very quickly into a short stories. Because why not? It's not finance related, but let's open up a little bit. So I was, of course, on all of those apps as well in Seattle, just moving a couple months after moving to Seattle. And there is this young lady, of course, that I see on the apps, and I send her a couple messages, and we chit chat. And my strategy is pretty much after 7 messages or so, I need to figure out a date. I'm a kind of quick to the gun, because otherwise you go into lengthy conversations that take forever, and then there is no outcome. So I know by message 7, that's the mark. Boom! I need to offer a date with a time and an activity.
Lucky number 7.
Yes, lucky number 7. You know that. It's Vegas, guys. Okay, guys, just a fun apartheid to flavor a little bit this story. But I see that, I don't know how many times it's her birthday, but Aliente.
Where where I'm from, we celebrate a week.
Oh, you celebrate a week, huh?
A week around it. It's not just the day.
Minus 99, minus 107, minus 23. Do you do this often?
No.
You're pretty conservative with regards to how you spend your money for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. When we look at this, how this is going to sum, I'm not too surprised. Okay. But for the most part, guys, ladies and gentlemen, John here is pretty frugal. You do your groceries at Walmart and some of those kind of good prices places for your fuel at Costco. I like that. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're interested in good fuel prices and cashback, there is an app that I recently discovered that is called Upside, and that gives you cashback on your gas purchases. Give it a shot. I have a link in the description. I have a little bit of a referral on this, but it's free. Why not looking into it? Let's go back to our story together. At 39 years old, John, you have pretty much been living off a very fine line, and that kind of give me a little bit of worries as to the mindset that you are in, because you still can cruising here, probably, you are seem in a good physical strength and so on, which is nice to see. But my friend, you're only 39. How is it going to happen or fluctuate within the next couple of years? Okay, especially when I think about a story that I had on this seat a couple of days ago, a person that was exactly like you, my friend, exactly like you. Now, they didn't have the house or the cars that they inherited from their parents, but they had nothing. At 40 years old, they woke up blind on one eye, and they realized that they had a disease. They became on disability from 40, and they're currently 51 years old, and right now they are stuck with disability. It's a very, very tough grounds. And so what I'm saying is I don't want to create any, scareness or any of that. We always hope, touching wood, my friend, that everything's going to be nice. Mm-hmm. But I want to start instigating in you a sense of responsibility about how can you plan for something that at some point potentially can create a future from you where you're not stressful. If tomorrow something arises, you're kind of especially John as well, if you want to have a family. Do you want to have a family?
Yes.
You want to have kids?
Yes.
All right, let's set you up for this, which brings me, guys, to our next segment here, which looks at the money case. You are currently 39 years old and you've saved absolutely zero for retirement. However, it is never too late, because I want you to be a millionaire by the time you retire. And what I'm about to show you is what you will need to save per month starting today, every single month, so that by the time you're 67 years old, you can retire as a millionaire. And I'm going to show you how much would it be if instead of starting today, you had started 10 years ago, or if you start 10 years from now? You will see it is beautiful. Let's first start with today at 39 years old. In order for you to retire with $1 million and wanting to potentially help out with your family and so on, you need to save today, and that's a little bit steep, I'm not gonna lie, $600 per month. I know, my friend, that's a lot of money, but this, as a surprise, guys, is how you max out your Roth IRA per year, $7,000 or so. So every year, right now, you max out your Roth IRA, looking at the S&P 500, which gives you about 10% per year. This is $1 million by the time you retire. Now, this for you probably doesn't bring the point forward. And so I'm going to show you what that means. If you don't start today and you start in 10 years, you will need per month to save not $600, but $2,000. See the difference? Now, the biggest thing is we can't touch the past. I know we can't touch the past, but here I want to educate our audience, okay? If instead of starting today, you had started 10 years ago, you wouldn't have need $600 per month. You would have only need $200 per month. See? And if you had started even 10 years before that, $75. So by delaying every single year, you're delaying your retirement. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot, because the greatest assets that you have, John, and you don't even realize that, it is time. You still have a lot of time in front of you to reach a retirement, because otherwise, I promise you, the system in the United States is not favorable to people that don't save for retirement. So you would have started young, you would have had to pay $75. You started 10 years ago, you would have spent $200. Today, it's never too late, $600. But if you say, oh, I'm going to be rich and so on, and I'm wishing for it to happen, in 10 years, you don't need to spend $600, you need to spend $2,000 per month. And that, my friend, is a different story, okay? Because I want you to be able to retire as a millionaire. So how do we make it happen? Let's move on. Now that we've understood your situation pretty well, I'm going to walk you through how I'm thinking about your finances, okay? And we're going to look at this together. Looking at your needs. This is money that you need to have every month to maintain your current lifestyle. Well, because your house is so expensive, as we mentioned, 70% of your income, your needs come today to $2,900. That's 99% of your income. Okay, we like it to be below 50. Why? That's because, again, the house is expensive and you're not making bank, and you're not making $50,000 per year, my friend. I'm hoping that we can somehow increase this income, and I will walk you through some ideas. Number two, here, looking at your wants, I mean, I see a little bit of alcohol consumption. You average about $120 or so per month. I'm going to keep it at $100, okay? Because, well, you don't have that much else. So $100 should be what you need for your wants. Now, this is where the juice starts, my friend. Let's look at a step-by-step on what I would do. Number one, I will sell one of the two cars. And my recommendation for you is you sell the Patriot. Why? Because number one, Jim Patriot, in terms of reliability, it's garbage. Sorry about that, but I'm somehow a little bit of a car person, I would say, and those cars have not been the greatest rated, so I don't want something to dumb on you. Number two, it's still at a sweet spot right now. You're probably going to have a good value for it. As car depreciate generally in couple waves. It's like a big waves right at the beginning, then it stabilizes, and then it dips. Right now, you are at the stabilization, okay? And maybe in 1 or 2 years, it dips again. Because the car is not super old. It's about 8 years or so. So it still has some good perception. The sweet spot, guys, to buy a car, by the way, is never to buy new for the most part. It is between 2 and 4 years old. 3 years old is the sweet spot at around 40,000 miles or so, maybe a little bit less than that, because you still have the car warranty. The car has hit its greatest depreciation, and that is right there at the sweet spot. I personally like certified pre-owned, for example, but forget about kind of those no haggle dealership. Always trust to haggle. Anyway, speaking about your case right now on your Patriot, you can have around $11,000. And what I want right away is to ask you this question. What are you going to do when you get $11,000? Because to me, John, with much respect, with 74 cents on your account, it seems that every time you get money, it goes out right away. Where is your mindset at on this?
Pay off those debts.
Okay, but my biggest question is, are you going to spend it on things that maybe you don't need because you're going to think that now you have money?
No? 11,000 is not a lot of money.
Okay, so let's think about this. I think you're spot on. What I would do is I would call every of the collection that you own right now. And given that is at least some of them are 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, you're in what is called the hell of collections. Meaning that you're probably what they call an insolvent account, meaning that they are, praying that they can collect a cent from you. Because your debt, what's going on is when you go into collection, your debt gets bought and bought and bought at different levels, okay? Generally, after 90 days, it gets bought by, it's still within the primary collection. And then after a couple months, it gets bought by someone. And every time the collection agency, they buy your debt at a lower price. So I can tell you, for example, if one of your debt here, the utility, for example, is $500 and it's 10 years old, they probably buy your debt for less than $20. Mm-hmm. Just joking around, but it's like cent to the dollar. Why? Because they estimate that the probability at which they will recover that money is close to zero. So they're willing to take a bet on you. And so if you call them and say, hey, I have $100, I almost guarantee you that they will say yes. Okay? So because your collection are so old, you can haggle like no tomorrow, like 80% down. Okay? And if they say no, you said, okay, thank you very much. I will call you back next week and we'll see about that. You call them back the next week. Hey, I have $100. Do you want it or no? No? Okay, see you next week. I promise you, they will take the money at some point. Mm-hmm. Because you are again in the hell of collection. So it's kind of like, if we're going to get a dime from this guy, it's jackpot.
Gotcha.
Okay. This right away, given that it's still reported on your credit report, is going to elevate your credit score right away. Because for the most part, what is nice to see is that you're not stacking on recent debt. So it's old debt. And I know you could say, oh, collection falls off after a while. Let's just be clean, guys. Out of the 3,300, you're probably going to pay 1,000. If so, get that shit out of the way. That's it. It's gone. Your credit score is now back to clean. Make sure when you call them, you say, hey, can you please make sure that this gets reported so it's no longer on my credit score? They need to know that, and they will normally wipe this out. Okay, you need to get a verbal confirmation that it's going to happen. And that's going to boost your credit score, which is what we want to do. Speaking of credit score as well, if you're paying for things like Verizon for your phone or like Netflix, there is a company that I'm partnering with, which is called StellarFi, and that allows to build your credit score of regular bills that you pay. Okay, I've tested it myself. I use it for my Netflix and so on. It's just something that, again, kind of boosts your credit score without asking for credit. It's not a credit card. It's generally pretty safe. Just look into it, guys. I have a link in the description. That's a little bit about the credit score game. What else would I do with the $10,000 or so that you're going to cash out from this? Okay. I need you, again, basic, to create what is called an emergency fund. Okay, and you're going to put this money into what is called a high yield saving account. This is going to give you about 5.5% a year. And let's start with something smooth. Let's put $5,000 on the side. Okay, generally we like it to be between 3 to 6 months. Your needs are about $3,000, so I would like it to be around $15,000. But I want for you for now to kind of create a little bit of a base. Let's start building foundations. Okay. So $1,000 go to collection by Felicia. $5,000 go to an high saving account. What you're going to do is you're going to open what is called a Roth IRA. Okay? This is no BS. This is one of the best tax efficient retirement plan that exists. Okay? And you're going to invest. I want you to put at least $1,000 in it. Okay? And I want you to start building kind of that mindset little by little, putting money on the side. On your Roth IRA, this is going to be tremendously important, especially as we think about ultimately wanting you to max out your Roth IRA every year, which is $7,000. Do you follow? Mm-hmm. The other thing that I want you to start thinking about is how the hell can we freaking increase your income? Mm-hmm. Because at $50,000 right now, in the situation that you're living in, you cannot think about having a family. Mm-hmm. You cannot. So having a kid in the first life, my friend, is about $13,000. So yes, you have assets, okay? But let's be frank, John. The assets that you have are the ones that you inherited from your parents. The ones that you've created yourself at 39 is $200. So I want you to really shift your mindset to be in the way of a founder, of a family builder. Can you stop being just the guy that's kind of roaming around with gigs and start thinking truly from at 39, time to get a hold of my life and build not just a strong physique like you have, but bring that same physique mindset that you have and bring it to a foundation and a family structure that can accommodate for what you're wanting in life. Mm-hmm. And this is the mindset that I want you to start having. What would 10 years older John tell yourself to you right now? Because he's going to look at you, and in 10 years, you're almost 50 years old, my friend. What the heck is he going to say to the guy and say, dude, you have $200. Cool, you could have done it. What would you tell yourself if you were to look at yourself 10 years from today, exteriorize yourself? What would you tell yourself right now?
Shake my head.
Right? So when you're telling me I'm okay, my friend, you're not okay.
Right.
You're okay because you've all these years given yourself the perception that you're doing fine. Yes. And I will say on paper, you're okay. But that is against because of what you've gotten from your parents. So the mindset of you, John, what you've built is not okay. I want you, forget about what you've gotten. Now it's time for you to create your own trajectory. Yourself at 39 years old, coming with $200 is not okay. It's a mayday. And that's because I want you to have the right mindset. Mm-hmm. It's all going to be on the mindset. Because you have the hustle, you've been going through some collection, kind of letting things fly. This is over. The fact that some of those are kind of floating, $500, $800, left, right. The ticket, oh, by the way, the ticket, you need to wipe that shit ASAP as well. And that's not even a question. This needs to be wiped out. The mindset needs to completely shift. And for that, I want you to find alternative ways of making income. So how many hours per week do you work right now?
30.
30? Do you feel that it's enough?
No.
How much are you willing to work?
As much as it takes.
Okay. You have a truck?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to start thinking about how to build a damn income. $80,000 this year. This is around $2,000 extra per month. Okay. This $2,000 can have a tremendous shift on your life. Why? Because your current income satisfies your needs, but nothing else. So if you don't change the trajectory of your life, it's going to be flat all the way. In fact, it's not going to be flat. It's going to go down. Do you know why? Because of inflation. Mm-hmm. Because every year, the value of your money goes down by 7% or so. Right now, it's a crazy inflation. So if you keep 50 all the way, your quality of life will go down. And on top of that, you're not saving anything for your future. So you need to increase your income, and how I recommend to do. You have a truck, doing DoorDash or Uber when you have a truck is not the most fuel efficient. However, you're pretty, physical, absolutely no problem. Do something like TaskRabbit, which is an app that connects professionals like yourself with a truck when they need to move things, furniture, and so on. And this can pay quite a bit. Especially if it works on your hours. Okay. Those are some of the ideas that you need to implement somehow, leveraging your good health, your truck, and potentially think about kind of getting a little bit of that income in. Target this year, $80,000. You think you can do it? Okay. And with the extra income that you get, you're going to continue to put in your high-yield saving account until you get to $15,000. Number one. Number two, you're going to max out your Roth IRA that we discussed together, $7,000 per year. And number three, guess what? You're going to start investing. And this is the jackpot. This is the juice. Because this is where you can start building a foundation for your family. This is where you can start thinking about additional projects, investing into businesses, investing on the stock market, investing into potentially your passion. But the story can still be written in a very nice way if you're willing to change the way you've been operating for 39 years. So when I speak to you in about a month or so, you should have no collection. Your credit score is going to pump. And you should be able to tell me that you've picked up additional income. Do you shake my hand?
Sure.
All right. John, I will be following up with you. I think tremendously. I think you have a tremendous future. Your cards are not well all played, but the next couple of months and the next couple of years can completely shift the way your trajectory will work. Either you stay the same and you're done, no family, forget about any of those dreams, or you kick your butt and you're back on it, let's go rock and roll, and you get that income, and then you're going to be golden.
All right.
All right. Do you have any final words or anything that you want to say to either someone that finds yourself in the same spot that you're today, or as a conclusion to our discussion?
I would say keep your mental health right, exercise, find a coach, find advice, take their advice and use it.
All right.
Normally people who want to help you, it usually works.
All right, guys. As always, we will have a following on you, John, so you will be accountable. Thank you so much for following along and again of grabbing a little bit of bits here and there. We hope this complements your knowledge as you think about your own financial situation. Guys, thank you for your support and we'll see you next time. À bientôt.
This is Romain. How are you doing?
What's up, Roman?
How have things been going for you, John?
It's good. It's going better. I found another job.
Nice.
Nursery in the morning for loading and driving, and I have deliveries for lunch for Jimmy John's.
Wow. Okay, that's good. That's good. What about your car? Were you able to put the Jeep on the market or no?
I still have to get in my name from the probate. I found out.
Oh, I see. It's not in your name right now?
No.
Got it. Once you have it under your name, are you going to go and sell it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's worth to keep both.
No. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And when it comes to the collection, did you pay all of that stuff that we discussed together?
No, I was going to look at it this week because I get a couple paychecks.
Okay, so your goal is still going to be to kill those collections in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, start to call them and see what I can get off of my name.
Okay, that's good. Any other actions that you've taken based on the discussions that we've had together?
Just mainly just looking for a better job. And I have the sheet that you gave me on my desk. I look at it just to see, what the next steps are mentally to plan out.
Okay. All right, John. I guess you're in a good headspace. I think you're gonna probably do good now that you're back into a kind of an intense work schedule and kind of trying to pull that extra income that we've discussed. I think this is going to be key for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate the game plan, and just gotta make it happen now.
All right, keep me updated, and we keep in touch. Okay?
All right.
All right. Take care, buddy. Bye.